Okay, say that again.
Applications just opened for Cherry Creek today.
That's so
So
sad.
it's
How much
sad.
is the donation? Yeah, let's see how much is my donation this year.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think you're a contender. I mean,
How much is the booth fee?
last year,
I'll
what
tell you
was
in a
it? About 850?
Well, how much is the application and jury fee?
That's probably $40 or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not too
tell you
bad.
in a second. Log it in. I need to
Listen,
pay
if
a
it's
bunch of Jews.
a good show, I don't mind paying that booth fee, that's for sure. Um,
Well, it's not if it's a good show or not. It's more. Let's start with this. It has to be a good show, and then uh, what are the odds of you getting in? You know,
right,
but if you don't apply, you're not going to get in. But I know.
right, exactly.
It's like playing the lottery. You can't win if you
Yeah,
don't play.
Right,
correct.
right. And yeah, so
So check $45.
what?
Oh, good.
$45.
Okay.
Yeah, it's average.
Pretty average. Yeah.
Well, average used to be 20.
Right, but everything, everything went up. So,
Well, yeah, but after Zap started, it went up to 35.
uh
Yeah.
the cost of doing business.
I know things like they get 1,900 applications.
I thought it was more
There's
than that.
like 220 artists,
Hmm.
I thought it was around
and the band is
2,400.
240 people.
What was that, Larry?
I thought they used to get 2,400.
They say how much. I don't remember. I mean, I could look in my past emails, but they say how many people they apply.
I'm reading the what they're saying in the SAP app right now. 1,900.
Got it. That's plenty.
That's what I was trying to say to somebody today. That uh, people want to raise the booth fees, but you going like how many applications are you getting? Oh, we get a good wait listed, but how many applications for each spot you're getting? Because if you're not getting one or three for every spot, you're not getting enough applications. So the booth fees is $900.
Okay.
Uh, um, for a row booth and 1,100 for a corner. A double booth, which is limited, is 2,200.
Hmm.
Uh, Emerging program is $350.
Hmm.
Is that one
Well,
in
Uh,
a tent that's like several artists together?
what?
no, it's not. It's not. The emerging artists get their own booth, but are they smaller, I think?
Because I mean, that's
Or
like half the price, less than half the price.
I think it's a subsidized rate, and you have to qualify to be an emerging artist. Each show has different qualifications for what that
Yeah.
means.
Cherry Creek is the only show that takes artists from all over the country.
As emerging artists, you mean?
Yes,
What about Fort Worth? They don't?
I
No, it
don't
had to be
think so.
Texas
Oh, okay.
because the idea most of the emerging artists for most of the program, the reason why they want it to be local is so they can
To help
help
local
them in
artists.
person.
Right. Well, they do assign mentors to the emerging artists, um, even at Cherry Creek. This way, that artist, has somebody they could, talk to about, how they're going to set their tent up and all of that. By the time I applied to shows, I couldn't apply as an emerging artist because I had been doing open studios for about 5 years. And, I really didn't, when I read the qualifications, I really didn't qualify.
Yeah, but you probably did if you didn't do art shows,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter now.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I waited a long time to do art fairs because I did really well locally for a time anyway, and did open studios twice a year, and then had people come visit me in my studio once I had my own studio. Once I was out of my apartment.
So here you are. I'm answering these questions again. How you describe yourself? Asian, black or African American, Hispanic, of course.
Other. Why do you have
uh,
to put that down?
that's an application.
Yeah, but you don't
What's
have
your
to fill
degree?
that out.
You don't have to, I'm sure, right?
I think that helps them to get grants.
Yeah,
Yeah, so which is the biggest minority?
It's usually black.
So identify yourself as black.
Oh no, no, no. I'm still Hispanic. I
See,
don't like to play those games.
I don't like to play the game at all. Same with
I
religion.
know.
I put down
I know.
nothing.
So
check all of them off.
That's why I said
uh,
other.
Well, sometimes they don't have that. They can
They usually have prefer
about,
not or something.
every year about my kids. And, they had like a dozen, but they had nothing for biracial.
Oh.
So I would check off both and they would just ignore the white thing because that lifted up their non-white participation in the school or something. But, like what's your kids? White or non-white? Well, yes. And I don't know, it had to do with the busing and I don't know what else, but they got extra points for non-white kids in this neighborhood.
So what's going on? Oscar, you don't have a show till Naples, is that right?
yeah, I just finished. Well, I got one more, but it's indoors.
Well, that's
Uh,
fantastic. That's like almost like cheating an indoor show, right?
yeah, but I don't know. It's a show that I'm experimenting to
Hmm.
see how it goes.
Right.
Uh, and I will see what happens. I'm not expecting too much out of it. I want to see by then I have enough to do
What
just
show is it?
Royal Oak with
Oh,
a guild.
oh, with the Guild.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea if Old Town did their automatic invites yet?
No, I don't. I don't think that they've done that yet. Um, which is disappointing to be honest with you. But I don't think I will get automatic invite to that show. My booth looked like shit in that show compared to now.
Hmm. Well, I guess I'll
So
find out when they say applications are open that automatic invite part will be
that
passed.
I think that, yeah, I think that they already send those answers out already.
Uh-huh.
That's my thinking.
Right. Right.
So
Okay. Well, so this local artist market that I do, It goes March through December, Saturdays. And unfortunately, we heard the organizers are also artists and they do the show, and people depend upon this. And some people only do this. So the city needs to repave the road, and that means we wouldn't be able to do it for 3 weeks. And the city is supposed to give 30 days notice, but they're not. They're saying X date in October, and October is like prime season. And so that really sucks. So I have 2 more dates in October before the paving begins, and we can only hope that they only take 3 weeks and not more time, because it would be a shame to lose the rest of the year. As people are counting on this. I just did one last Saturday, and it was so busy. And it was a good, because the expenses are so low. It was really better than some shows I do, where you have to spend a couple grand between travel, hotel, booth fee, all of that. So anyway, I'm disappointed that we're going to lose some in October, because it's like just such a perfect time of year. But in general, I feel very relieved to have it, because I'm just at a loss as far as what to apply to for next year, because I travel and do all these shows, and I mean, some are great, some aren't, and then some are both. I mean, or some are worthwhile because they might pay off at other times. So it's I always assess at this time of year um what to do, and it would be nice to have some shows I've never done before. That's what I would love to do.
Yeah, well, the problem is you're in a part of the country where you don't have that many choices.
But I could fly for shows, so
Yeah.
so that part doesn't really matter. There just aren't that many shows that pan out.
Then you can rent a car that's been underwater.
Oh,
That's
what's
that's going to be
what's the news? Yeah, what's the news in Florida? I mean, I know Tampa got hit hard.
but
They didn't get hit hard.
no, north of
Tampa got
Tampa.
north of Tampa.
Okay.
For selfish reasons, and I don't like to say this, I'd rather, if the tropical storm is going to come, I'd rather go north from Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
because it can destroy the entire
The rest
winter season for the art show.
I
Right.
heard there was some damage, the St. Armand's Circle.
Yes,
Yeah, but that's because it's
it's underwater.
sea level. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and you guys got a governor that doesn't want to do anything about it. So,
What is he going to do about it?
same thing. Block the sea a little bit so the damage doesn't go happen that hard.
Oh, you want to put up seawalls?
Yeah. You're going to have to do it sooner or later. Now the whole area is the entire state is going to be underwater.
Well, I understand that in Miami, a lot of the buildings now are built to take floods, and I don't understand the engineering of it, but they're built that way. But flooding is one thing. Then there's the wind, and anyway,
All the buildings in Florida are designed for bad wind, so that is not.
Well, there is a debate. So the debate is, as a Floridian, because I'm one of the people that got flooded during that Fort Lauderdale flood. My home got flooded.
oh,
So the question is, do you try to dam up or wall up, or do you try to build up? So I think the thought now is to build up, as opposed to because once you get the we learned from what's the place? New Orleans. We
Mhm.
learned from New Orleans that when you dam up, you create basically a bowl, and that's why we had so many people die during the New Orleans flooding, because they were stuck
That's
inside a bowl.
because the thing in New Orleans was because they didn't open the gates. It was nothing with the system. That was a human error.
No,
Uh,
there's a problem with the system because they didn't have anywhere to water to go because there was water all around it. So it created a
Mhm.
fishbowl-like situation where they
There's
had to
pressure.
now they had to put in pumps to be able to get it out, to get it to dam up and get it out more. But that's a lot of engineering to do. So
Mhm.
the thought now is, instead of trying to do that and then push out, is if you build up. So like where I live, if you're building another house, you're going to bring in a lot more soil and build 3 feet up, instead of, like, my house is a lot lower than my neighbors, unfortunately. So like now we have to think about how to dam around it instead, or we have to raise our house.
And then there's a problem with, I remember there was a storm that flooded Naples, but the entire sea was like took over the town. So it wasn't just flooded, as I understand it. And the question is, as the sea rises, there's going to be a point where it's not going to go back out at sea. Out at sea will be in certain areas, and that's pretty scary
Yeah,
to
this
think about.
erode away the land, so then that becomes the sea.
Right, right. Yeah, scary.
Let me take this, sorry.
Has anybody heard anything about St. James this weekend?
Still going, from what I heard.
You're going to be there?
Nope, I'm not going to be there. That market is horrible for me.
I got
So
you.
Saint James is that
Louisville.
Kentucky? Oh,
Louisville,
Louisville.
yep.
Okay.
Louisville, yeah.
Got it.
That's this weekend coming up.
Yep. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We're leaving Charleston so we can't, we normally a 9-hour drive for us. Go to Asheville, take 40, but 40's washed out. So now we got to go
Right.
through Atlanta, through Nashville. So we're
Mhm.
taking the long way,
Mhm.
12 and a
And
half
how
hours.
and how did you do regarding the storm?
We did fine. The majority of Charleston was just really downed limbs. We had some pretty heavy winds with the power lines going out
Mhm.
because of the downed tree limbs. But personally, we did fine. We had no issues, and it was we were very blessed. We were very
Yeah,
lucky. But
yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of the video. Greenville, South Carolina has this little kind of like a little small river that goes through the heart of the city, and that turned into the Colorado River. It was so
Oh.
just terrible, and
Mhm.
um, and of
So
course Asheville got hammered, and so
so is that what happened in Nashville? Because of all the rain at such a short period of time, the
yes,
rivers. Yeah,
that's it.
okay.
Yep, the
Because I
rivers
know,
just overflowed. Yeah,
yeah, I know it was very unexpected because it seemed like living near the ocean was going to be a problem.
yeah,
Um, so, but I guess, it was hard to know that storm would keep packing a punch as it moved in.
yep. We were very blessed. We
Yeah,
had no, but now that I knew people who were without power for about 8 hours because they had tree limbs that had fallen and taken out the power lines.
sure.
Um, and the other thing with Asheville and up north is that um, the the rain was so heavy, so fast, so
Hmm.
hard. Um, the basically it caused mudslides, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
just that the ground was so saturated, it just caused mudslides everywhere,
Hmm. Right,
and the
right.
ground to But so we're going in. This will be our third year going to St. James, and Marianne's trying some different art this time. So she's actually painted some abstract horses. And but like you, Oscar, last 2 well, we sold one little painting for $250 last year. But it's like we don't have to jury in. We're grandfathered in. We got a great spot. And so it's like, okay, we're going to try it one more time and see what happens.
At some point you cannot keep doing that. So,
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah. But
because I'm having that debate for next year with my local shows in Chicago. People saying that I need to change my work to more. I'm not going to change my work because that's what I love doing.
right.
I just go to a different market.
Yep.
If
Right,
that means
exactly.
me traveling a lot, or well, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Yep. So we figured that three's a charm, so we're going to try it this year and see what happens. Marianne's got we have some really nice enhanced G clays, and so we'll see what happens. It's an adventure, right? This is our last show of the year. We only did 3 shows this year. Marianne did Spoleto this year, and I think I mentioned that last week, but she knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was a great show. She had one commission, sold 2 originals, and she sold paper prints that paid for our booth fee, which was fantastic. And so it was a really great show for her. So we're just hoping maybe this will the title turn for this show. We'll see.
Which section of St. James are you in?
We're in the court. We're actually right at the where you got the corner booth at Belgravia.
Ah, okay.
Yep. So we're right next to Belgravia.
I miss St. James. I haven't been able to do it in a couple of years. Look forward to going back there sometime.
Yep. And Marianne, because she does abstract, it's we talked to some folks about who live in Louisville, and they said that of course when the Derby is there, that's a big draw, and so she wanted to try something different, but it's in her styles because everything she does is abstract, so it's pretty cool.
Right back.
I think I can send this to you guys. Let me see if I can send this to you.
What do you mean send?
In the chat.
Oh,
Here we go. I'll send that one to you.
I'm here. I'm not leaving you.
so
We
Carol,
go.
I recognize that piece behind you.
Hey, I didn't even have to do anything this time. It came up automatically. And yes, you've seen much more of it lately than anybody else has. I should put up the new one when it's done so you can see it with all the good shadows.
Right.
I got a question for Larry.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
I have a picture. I'm gonna see if I can put it. I don't know if I can put it in the chat, but it's got like lines because it's how I had to mount it, like it's lines on the background. Can you remove those?
Well, what do you mean lines?
Let me see if I can
You have
show
to
it.
email it to me. You can't.
Put it in the chat.
No, you can't put a picture in the chat.
You only can
can't?
put links.
Sure, I can. Wait, I can't.
No,
No.
I tried to put a photo in there. It didn't take.
You have to put a link.
Okay.
Holy cow. So Isphere, Cherry Creek, they all cost $45 to apply to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Dogwood is the cheapest one, 35.
Everything's going up, isn't it?
Man, isn't it though? Now with the longshoremen striking, because
Oh,
we're a
yeah.
port city here.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Uh, let me tell you, you better stock up on your stuff now.
Yeah, they said it might last until December.
Yep,
Well, I
most
think
likely.
now with the storm having gone through and people are going to be needing supplies and stuff like that, they have more of a leg to stand on for them to, you want your stuff? We need to
Hey,
sell.
I still have toilet paper and paper towels from before the pandemic.
So do
Oh,
we.
wow.
Yep.
You're the hoarder. Oh,
Mar Marianne went yesterday to Sam's and she picked up 3 paper towels, 3 toilet papers, 3 napkins, and Kleenex. So we are hoarding ourselves.
I'm coming to Larry's house if we need any.
There you go.
Just start to ship it to you.
Well, Bob went up to Asheville yesterday to try to help a friend's son. The bridge at the bottom of their road was washed out. And so
Wow.
they went up and he wasn't even in a hard hit spot. I mean, not like not like some of the other places that the whole towns are just completely gone. They were on
Like
the river.
Chimney Rock? You were thinking
Chimney
Chimney
Rock.
Rock?
Oh my gosh, have you seen the video of Chimney Rock or
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah.
But interestingly, he went to a hotel on his way up the mountain to the guy's son's house. He had to go to the restroom, and he stopped, and they said, "Well, good luck." He said, "Obviously, there's no power." And he said, "Well, what are you using to, in the restrooms?" And the people up front said, "The water from the swimming pool, because we're not going to swim in that now."
Oh my gosh.
But they said the same thing. It's like, well, it's at least we have water, but we also don't have toilet paper and paper towels and all that kind of stuff. And now they can't get it in either. And these poor people were from Kansas. They were there on vacation and now they're stuck. And they can't even drive back. I don't know if they didn't have a car or what the situation was. I didn't ask Bob, but you can't get from the main road from Asheville to Tennessee is closed. And who
That's
knows
right.
how long that's going to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
Wow.
I-40 shut down. Parts of I-26,
Yeah.
getting close to Johnsonville, was shut down.
Yep.
But you would think it would be in the interest to get tourists out,
Yes.
So, I wonder if there's any like military vehicles or, things like that to
The
bring people out.
Oh,
The
to get them
governmental
out.
response was very slow. Like when we've had hurricanes here in Florida, they're like lined up because they know it's happening.
Yep.
But they just did not have that type of response there. They had people
We
go
weren't
in their own
expecting it.
personal boats and take their boat in to get people out of Chimney Rock area.
Yeah, I mean, they just weren't expecting it. I mean, originally it was supposed to go east and it ended up going more north and before it went west. And so that was,
Right. It was a
Also, you
tricky
have to
storm.
think about.
unexpected.
It's also have to think about it. I was talking to my insurance agent this morning. If an area doesn't get hit on the regular basis, you're not going to have the infrastructure to deal with that. They're more
Yeah.
equipped to deal with something else. You cannot just go and say, "Oh, the response is really slow," but if they don't get hit with a situation all the time, it's not going to be the same. That will be like I put it to you.
A snowstorm
California
in the
got a
south.
wildfires, and
Right.
then a place like let's call it North Virginia gets a wildfire. It's not the same. You're not going to have the equipment to handle that.
Right. Or a
Right.
snowstorm in the south. You can't get
Well,
off.
the federal response is very slow. You're still not hearing anything about the federal response.
Yeah.
Declaration
Yes,
of-
no. The federal response, they pledged, I don't know how many millions of dollars, but I mean, there's money already allotted because it's been declared a disaster, which has to be done in order for federal money to be released. So, knowing from like fire that it takes a little bit of time. And as Oscar was saying, this also was unexpected. It was a surprise, but the federal funds have been released. So those things can at least be put in place. Imagine if we didn't have the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association, there'd be no warnings for storms in the first place.
Right.
And so many, like thousands of people, if not millions of people, would die because they wouldn't be able to leave they wouldn't know to leave their homes. Like once you see the storm in the sky, it's too late to leave.
I think the
Yeah.
most heartbreaking part of it is all the people who, and there are, and I know lots of them who are
Mhm.
completely cut off from everything. They don't have water, they don't have food, and they have no roads to get out
And
because
no
they're completely
communication.
washed away, and they have no way for anyone to get in. And these are people that I know. What about the elderly and the people who need to go to a hospital, and
Right.
they're stuck. I mean, without
Yeah.
a helicopter to come and get them,
Yes.
there's
what-
no
You
way
know,
for them to get
most
out.
of the
That's what
people,
happened. That's what happened with that storm in Puerto Rico.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
And people were stuck like on their own, and they
Right.
like I know someone, his grandmother, was in her house, which was not in a city or anything, and the neighbors all helped each other, and she was like, I don't know, 98 at the time, but she fared just fine, but it depends upon what condition your house is in too.
Sure.
not to be funny, but at least we don't have a president throwing rolls of paper towels.
Well, the problem is, if NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Association or Administration, is dismantled, like you and I, we look at the weather reports before doing a show. That's all free from the federal government, from NOAA. Like AccuWeather is from NOAA, and so we're really going to be screwed because we won't be able to determine if
actually, what I
yeah.
was reading, Allison, is that they don't want to dismantle it; they want to privatize it. That you
That's
have
what I
to
heard.
pay for the service, just like they do with
Right.
the vocational schools. They want to take it out of school because it was free, so somebody
Right.
can make money. That's the same thing. They keep
Yeah,
making
but
the
what
same
about,
mistakes over
and then what
and
about
over.
FEMA? What about FEMA, who rescue people during these storms? I mean, there's
That's the same thing.
FEMA.
They will make it private. They want to make all that private.
Right. And the thing is, they're not that organized. I mean, they'll, be able to fire people, but making it private, you could talk about that, but would that even really happen? There's going to be storms, and there won't be a system in place to
If they make it private, they'll charge for it, and the
right.
people that can't afford to pay will die.
Right. Which will be, millions of people.
Right.
But it's not like our taxes are going to go down. It's not like we could take the money that we'd pay from taxes and, pay. It's just really a stupid idea. I mean, the federal government does have a role in our
It's
society.
like there should be universal health care.
Yes. Yes.
But that's when you really, moments like this is when you really appreciate having a government that works.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the roads that we drive on, those just don't happen by magic. I mean, the highway system, that was with the Eisenhower highway system. I think that was post World War II. Part of it was for national security, as I understand, so you could transfer goods across the country, but it also benefited our economy, as far as delivering goods. I mean, it's just privatizing. Anyway, there's other storms brewing out at sea now. So
Great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just the beginning.
Yeah. They're now calling it global boiling. I had not heard that word before.
Boiling
Yes,
with a B.
because the water in the Gulf is getting so warm, and
Oh.
so it's really going to screw up the Gulf Stream. Um,
The fear of the
You know, the
Gulf
last
Stream is that
storm
it's
it
going to
ran.
move south and that the north will get colder.
uh,
But you know that the storm that just hit that was created in the Pacific. It's really rare when it goes the go through Mexico and then go through to the United States. Usually those kind of storm goes to the Pacific and becomes a cyclone instead of a hurricane. Why I have a big picture of your dog in my screen, Larry?
Picture of what?
Of your
Why are
dog.
you
Elvis, of
sharing your
Elvis.
screen? Your
Yeah. The nose and the glasses. There you
That
go.
better? I don't know where that came from.
Sure.
We had something else up.
Zoom did an upgrade last week.
Maybe it's your dog who did it.
uh,
How much is that doggy in the window? How much is that doggy on the computer?
So, the weather effect shows obviously so much. And it's
and
like,
that remind me.
what?
The last two shows I'm being um, the last show that I did in La Grange, it was super hot on Saturday and then rain all day long on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
The one that I did this weekend, it was that annoying spit rain that never stops.
Hmm.
Uh,
I
and
heard
then
that Plaza. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
and then on Sunday it didn't get better until noon. I just got really, really, really lucky
Hmm.
with the show.
Right. I heard that Plaza was so hot, and there's an artist who ended up in the hospital. I don't know how he's doing, but um, they had to put him into a clinical coma. I read it on Facebook, but that's serious.
Somebody mentioned that to me also in one of the during the show.
Hmm.
But
Which group on Facebook, Allison? I didn't see that.
I don't remember. One was Plaza. It was not that long ago.
2 weeks ago,
Okay.
2 weekends.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who did it. They told me it was just so disgustingly humid, and um, but it's what we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
We have no control.
I know. The things like when it gets really hot, you have to slow down. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to set up the day of the show.
Right. It's nice to have it separate, ideally.
Yep.
Yeah, because if it gets the weather's really hot, then you can take your time doing it instead of stressing out. And I also don't. I honestly here in the Midwest, it gets really, really miserable hot at 4 or 5 o'clock in the day.
Yeah.
It's not like in the Caribbean that's miserable at midday. So having late setup is a bad idea also. In here in the Midwest, you just try to have everybody done by 5
Come to
if you
Charleston.
can.
Oh, right. I mean, when
But
I set up for this local, go ahead, sorry.
I deliver mail for a living. I
Ah.
retired 2.5 years, and all summer long it's nothing but hot, sticky, humid. You know, it's today. Today we were lucky. We were at 86 degrees and the humidity was kind of low. But yesterday it was 93 and the humidity was 98.
Wow.
And when we did Spoleto in May, we were able to set up the work, but first thing in the morning, but breakdown in the afternoon, which was June 5th, I think, or something. Man, it was hot. That was
Mhm.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I set up for this artist market here, I have to wear layers because it's like in the 50s in the morning, and then it'll get up to the 80s, and the sun is so strong here because of the elevation, that I have to wear a sweater and a jacket, and just like each hour, I take one
Wear
more
yourself
thing off.
Where are
Pardon?
you, Allison?
Oh, I'm in Santa Fe, New
Oh,
Mexico.
okay. What a
Yeah.
lovely area. I missed that place. Been there a couple times. I'd like to go back.
Yeah. And also it's dry here, which helps.
True.
But when we, in November, December, I mean, it's really cold in the morning, but as long as the sun is out, it could be 50 degrees and still be comfortable. But I learned about these hand warmers that like you shake them and they get warm, and that helps a lot too. But an overcast day in the winter wouldn't be good. It's just the sun that makes such a difference. But they cancel if it's going to snow, or it's just also realistically people wouldn't be out in that.
In
Well,
that
it's like
kind of weather.
like the last time I did Ann Arbor, which was, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And it was like 98 and 100% humidity for all 3 days.
Ugh.
And the storm, I mean, it was just, I can't remember the last time it was that awful. I had to just keep dousing my head, which I never have to do. And of course, the storms, as usual, always there in the afternoon, are so bad. Somebody's tent gets blown away.
Ugh.
We were grateful for for the rain at that year, because it was so, and that's Michigan. And that's not even down here in the South, hot, humid South.
Right. Yeah. I wish there were more indoor shows that,
Yeah, good ones.
good ones. Yeah. Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah, haven't
It's
done
like
any.
it's
Christmas markets indoors?
Uh-huh.
what?
Christmas markets, those tend to be indoors, aren't
You
they?
hear me?
Right.
Well, they don't suit my kind of work, so I wouldn't do those. But the ones I've checked out for indoor shows are, you walk down the aisles and there are no customers walking around.
Well, that doesn't help.
So you're just looking at each other. Now, they are air conditioned. There is that,
Mhm.
or heated.
You don't have to
But
set
yeah,
up
if it's triple digits, it's not really good for business. And I mean that's the thing. It's like and then if it's too cold, I mean, so a little drizzly rain is okay. But there are just, such extremes. I mean, it used to be with the shows up in the mountains, like in Colorado, you could count on an afternoon storm, but it would last 20 minutes and then dry up completely. Uh, but yeah, several shows I did were kind of too cold, actually. The other thing is there's the psychological factor, you know, like when it's summer and people feel good and they have their summer clothes on and that kind of thing. And so if it's, too cold,
But if
then
it's too hot, they go into that like zombie state.
right.
They're just walking through. They're not going to buy anything because it's too hot. They don't want to carry anything.
Hmm. Right. They don't want to try anything on.
Exactly.
Right. So
Like a
it's
sweet spot temperature for art show.
right. So that's getting a little more challenging.
So I got a question in general. How, two questions actually. How you direct more traffic to your website without doing shows?
Mhm.
And then and the other question is, do you think the artist should be involved promoting the art show in general, not just to your, well, I'm assuming as soon as you do a mailing list to your clients telling you that you're going to be there, that
Yeah.
helps the show. But do
In
you think
my,
that they should be require every single artist to do that
they can't force people,
single show?
but my opinion is everyone should promote, send to their mailing list, or and social media, however they promote their work. And like if you have a show of 200 artists and at least 150 actually followed through with that, that would help everyone because I I invite customers to shows and they might not buy from me, but I'll find out they bought from someone else, which is great, because
Right.
they're not always going to buy from me. So it's actually a really nice way to share. And but you can't make artists do that. However, um, some shows will send promotional information and images and things like that, encouraging you to do that. And so I think that's helpful. Uh, and um, so yeah, I think that should happen, but you can't make people do it.
The thing I was gonna say about driving traffic, social media, like Facebook posts and really helps. It helps me. I'll put up like I got something new, and then people will want to say, where can I get it?
Yeah, but you
And
need to have that following too.
well, yeah, but you gotta, yeah, you gotta be on Facebook, you gotta have friends, you gotta have a following, but you gotta start somewhere. So,
Okay. There's another way to do it. Get
Yeah.
together with a group of artists and promote each other's website.
So I tried that during
The pandemic.
2020. Yeah. And it was lukewarm, I'd say. And that's just my anecdotal, you know.
sometimes that can be too overwhelming because you got so many people, so many different artists. If
There
you're
weren't that many. It was like 20 artists. I mean, it wasn't like a huge amount. Um, I mean, whenever I do a show, I could look at the analytics and I definitely get more people looking at my website, or if I send out an email with links and I could tell where people have clicked. But yeah, you always need to meet new people. And some people, and it depends upon your artwork. I think for some people, it works great online. Um, and there are people who don't do shows and create their whole business on social media. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work for me. I mean, I have people following me, say on Instagram. Often they've met me somewhere first, or sometimes they follow me and then they see me at a show. I don't make direct sales from Instagram, but it definitely helps putting something out there.
what do you
But
do,
again,
Oscar? I forgot.
I'm a jeweler, a metalsmith,
No,
and my
no,
work is very
Oscar,
much.
Oscar.
He's a
Well, I do
photographer.
photography, but the sales that I always get from the website, and they usually are good, is from people that saw me in the art show.
Well, you see, yours is
Yeah.
trickier though, because it's photography is, I think, a lot trickier. But Larry's got the photography angle down, I think. He's the one to ask. But it's harder because it's people um they see the image, but I don't know if I think it's different from painting and ceramics and stuff and jewelry.
Well, we see. I would try. I'm trying to do a couple of things, see if it works. But
So Oscar, I send out an email monthly, and sometimes, like, I don't generally, like, right after the email, it's not like I just make sales, but it could be a couple weeks later. And so ever since COVID, more people are more comfortable buying online from me. But that helps generate interest. I just don't know when it'll happen. It could be when I'm on the road and I haven't looked at my phone all day. Um, so
I got to tell you from the last few shows that I got 4 logo shows that bombed, and then the one in Michigan was really good. But the one in Michigan, I've been saying to myself, you keep giving business cards, maybe the person will buy it later on. And the person that bought 3 pieces from me, he saw me in Mardi Gras back in February. And
oh,
he saw me and then bought the pieces from me here.
so it took a
And
while.
actually, yeah, and he went and bought, you're going to laugh about this, Larry. He bought the entire booth from Chris Meyer. The entire booth. Everything in there, he bought it.
Yeah, but what's he doing with them?
Wow.
He's putting in the house, in his new
Now,
house.
you sure? He
I
might
hope so.
he might own an apartment building that's for sale, and he's using it to decorate the apartment.
Mediums and certain price points. Uh,
I had that happen to me once. Somebody bought 22 pieces because he was selling the condo, and
wow.
he wanted to decorate it really cheap.
Well, that's fine with me. The only thing that I care is the money part. They can do what after they buy the pieces, they can put it in the toilet or in the cycle bin if they want to. I don't care.
Right.
I got that money in my bank account. You got your image. I'm done. No, I hope that the guy actually he also bought pizza from James Parker, so it was really really good to see that. So
What did that guy do?
he's an investor,
No, James Parker.
finance, Parker Photography.
Are you photographer? Okay.
Apparently he only bought photography.
Was this
And
recently,
he might
Oscar?
do it. Yeah, this past weekend.
This past weekend?
Oh,
Where
wow.
were you? What show?
It used to be Common Grounds, but the show might be in its last legs. It's in Birmingham.
Oh,
So
my nephew's there. I should go visit it sometime. Well, good for
so
him. But like you said, he has the money. What the people do with it afterward is up to them. Or you don't want them to
yeah.
throw it in the toilet, but you know what?
Do you know that sometimes when I do the art installations in Chicago, I see people with pieces from the art shows that they take it down because they're going to replace it with a piece that they bought from the gallery. So it happens more often than you think. But they move it. Most of the time, I try to have them move to a place that's not that prominent anymore. So they don't toss it out because most of the time I know the person.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
because there aren't enough art shows, so they can't buy art every weekend from an artist.
Yeah.
They need to move to Florida.
well, maybe not. Maybe not a good idea now. But
Yeah, right now.
Do you know the thing is like what I find out this year, and I keep saying this for the longest time, and came on in conversation today also. It's like in Chicago in general, the market has gone so bad for the shows is because it's not unique anymore. There's a show every weekend. It's not like and people say, I used to say this the same, oh, Florida, but I'm going like it's different to compare a state compared to Chicago. So, and the market has gone really bad for iFair because it's nothing special in here, and people are just buying. It seems like they're just buying tourists' artwork, things that you can relate to the city. So, but we see.
That's how I make my money. I have a lot of tourists, which is, I think it's funny because I'm shipping all over the place. And I'm thinking it's going to be just more Floridians.
Yeah, but it's when I mean tourists, it's like Chicago imaging. It's not like you have a turtle or something that can be used in someplace else, you know.
Like
Yeah.
Route 66 starts here,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. It's not like oh, I want a picture of the skyline of Chicago. Oh, I want a picture from this building from Chicago. Oh, you get the idea.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
It's unique to Chicago. And I think the funny thing is uh I only see that type of art in Chicago. I don't see that much in any other art show around the country where they're showing mostly just things from the area. Like you walk and show Chicago and you will see every 5 artists have something Chicago related. And then they all wonder why they're not doing well. So, but that's just my opinion. Um, if you're doing something like what Mark Hirsch does, which it combines all Chicago pictures with new Chicago pictures and make it into one, that's a little bit different. But if you're just doing the same thing that everybody else, what?
What happened to the other kitty that was visiting, Oscar?
It's just laying down in my office next to me, and Dahlia doesn't want to
Oh,
come to the office because the other cat is in here, and
oh.
they're screaming at each other right now,
Mhm.
and Dahlia's kind of pissed off. Even she sleep with
Well,
me all night long.
she's always pissed off, isn't she?
She's a princess. What to tell you?
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can come in if you want to. Sooner or later, you two have to make a peace because I don't know how long it's going to stay here.
Oscar, you said you went to Port Clinton.
No, I skip it this year.
Okay. Were you
Some
there?
people did really well. Other people did really, really bad.
Did you do it the year before?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we skipped
That
this
used
year. Well, we were on the wait list, and we decided to just say, well, take us off the wait list.
the thing like she lost the city was fixing one road and she lost thing 75 spot. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
So that was part of the problem. So how was you applying next year? It's a good show overall. My opinion is a Sunday show. It's not a Saturday show. Whatever you make on Saturday is hopefully you make your booth feedback or at least half of it, and then pray that Sunday goes your way.
Okay.
It's a heavily Jewish area, and most of the people kind of don't buy it on Saturday.
On Saturday,
In
right?
in that neighborhood specifically. I think that's why Lake Forest does it. The show Sunday and Monday Labor Weekend because of that. Because then you don't have that issue.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
we
if
did.
you come this way, I will try to apply to Port Clinton and Lake Forest, so you have two shows in the area.
Gotcha. We did Port Clinton in 2023, and that was a good show for Marianne.
At that point was my second best show. The 2023 show was the second best show I ever had. Now it's the fourth or fifth special I ever had. So
I think
I think Ann
yeah, that's
Arbor took,
Marianne's second best show. Spoleto was her first.
The
Ann
question is,
Arbor took the third place now, and Lexington is the second right now.
how do you know when it's time to break up with a show? You know, you like the show, the artists are treated well, all of that, but you're just not making the money.
I think that it is when you're not getting, regardless how your sales are. I think that the key for a show to come back or not come back is how many conversations you have that make the show that you see the potential in there.
Yeah.
The other thing is like I'm cutting loose cotton wood because the potential is there, but I've been trying over and over and over. It never materialized. I never have
Which time of year have you done?
cottonwood.
Yeah.
Cottonwood, I've done both. I think that the fall is the weakest.
Okay.
I would suggest you not to do it because it
'Cause
goes against
I was
football.
hunting. Go ahead. Sorry.
The October show, you go against the Saturday, you got the college football.
Mhm.
And then on Monday, you got the Cowboys. So
Mhm.
it's not a good show to do. It's not the best show to. You can still make money, but you're not going to make as much. The one that's really good to do is the spring show, assuming that you don't get to Brookside. If you get to Brookside, I will do Brookside over Cottonwood.
So, I was told that the spring show is it's really hot because that's in May.
It's not really hot, really, quite honest with
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I think that probably because I'm coming already from Florida and I'm kind of used to the hot weather.
Yeah.
So it could be
So
that, but it's
the
not
quality,
100.
right? The quality of the work looks very good. It's only a 9.5 hour drive, so it's a 1 day drive there.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, you know, lodging and everything is not so bad either.
No, they got a Marriott with there's like a mile away, I think, and you can
Okay.
get it for $80 a night.
Oh, wow.
It's not really cheap.
Very
Mhm.
cheap.
Yeah.
So I got a
And the
question.
show got it put by the city, so it's the city of Richardson is the one that puts the show.
Right. And
And
it's
it's
been going on for a
really,
long time
yeah,
also.
yeah.
I have a question. I've heard of artists that like they've been doing it for a while and they like sit out for a show because they said that it's saturated. Like they feel that they saturated
Yeah.
the show. They have to sit out and then they'll come back another time. Do you guys experience that?
Yeah, that's
I think
basically, Alison can tell you that more better than me.
no, you go ahead, Oscar, and then I'll go.
It's basically if you sales are keep going down and you don't have people talking to you about the work and you start seeing, when you start seeing, I already have this piece of yours and I really like it, and they're happy to see you just to stop to say hi, but you don't see people buying your work, it's time to drop the show.
Or
Okay.
give it a
But
break.
sometimes
You give it a break is what I heard. They like sit out 1 year and then come back
Right. And it
I
depends
sometimes it's
on
better to give it 2 years break.
2 years.
uh,
Okay.
so yeah, I agree. And you know, as long as you're still emailing your clients, because I can't tell you how many times I see someone wearing a pair of earrings from an artist I know, and I say, "Oh, you're wearing so and so's earrings," and they don't remember who it is. So we always have to remind them who we are, and so you know, in any case, you know, it happens often. It happens naturally, you know, by getting a rejection to a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not there, and then the year after, you know, it could be a really good show. So there is that. But yeah, Oscar's right. When people say, oh, we love your work, we got something from you last year, and and you visit with them, and then they, go on their way.
It's time to think again.
Right. But as I say, sometimes it just happens naturally that you might just not get in. So there's, that could be something that's enforced.
Yeah.
You
Well,
do you
Like
find that
next year, if I do Lexington, Kentucky, I'm afraid that that might happen naturally because that many people bought work for me already.
Mm.
But you never know until it's too late, basically.
do do
Right.
do the judges and the shows try to mix it up? Like, oh, I've seen Oscar so many times.
No, they're
They don't.
supposed
They
not to.
they
Okay.
They're
shouldn't
supposed not
because
to.
right, because it's supposed to be a blind jury.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they also, they want to see fresh work, like from the artists. If the work is familiar, you could be sitting enjoying a show and say, oh yeah, they've used the same
Pictures, right?
ceramic vase for like 10 years already.
Mm-hmm.
Or they start seeing but the one thing that I learned in the last few years is you have to be pleasant at the show to every single show because you never know. Shows that use pure jurors, like a auto artist, sometimes they walk the show to see your work. Other people look around. If they your neighbor with them, you never know. Um, I I'm pretty sure that the reason why I got waitlisted to Cherry Creek and I got to Park City this year is what we could Paige show, and I see my work in person, so that does make a difference. I think that there was a guy that does the sculpture, Mark. It's the same thing. Told me that if you peer see your work in person, you have a nice booth. It's a better chance of you getting in next time they see your work. Because like it or not, even the people said this is a blind jury, but people know the peers know your work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you got a good impression. And so even if they don't
Yeah,
know who it was, it triggers that good impression.
But one
yeah,
juror can't change the whole thing. And then
yeah. That's
the other,
true.
but the other thing that can happen is you see someone's work who and their work is so amazing, and their images are terrible, like really, really, really bad. And the rest of the jury just doesn't like them. So there's no way that you can't do.
Right.
So, as an artist, we have to give the jurors something good to work with, as we know, and as what Larry has been preaching.
Exactly.
Need good images.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just changing one image to the order, the imaging. Sometimes it's just improving the booth a little bit, but you
Sometimes
never
it
know.
depends. It depends upon the knowledge of the jurors.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard there's certain things like if you're a black and white artist and the jurors say, oh, I wish there was color in the images. Well, the artist's intent is this black and white work. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. And in competition, if you've got 20 jewelers and 2 photographers, the 2 photographers will probably get in, but the jewelry's going to be only, a certain amount. That's what I run
and
into mixed media, because it's such a broad category that it's I get a lot of competition because so many mixed media, even though it's very different from me.
right.
Ah, yeah, good point. Of course, the other thing is always when you see the same people at the shows and the booths are now empty and they're not coming back. Well, that's probably a good reason to say, I'm not going to do this show again either, because they know something you don't know, right? Maybe. And they've
Their booth
moved
is
on.
empty. If their booth is empty, that's a good sign, isn't it?
No, I mean, like if the booths aren't filling up, And
Or with people.
or
I
you know,
see.
they keep extending the application process for, you know, in the month or two, or you get to the show and the same people you've always seen there, not there anymore. Probably a good time to say,
Or
some
or
about
how
this
about
show, I think I won't come back.
or how about how about a show where like everyone you talk to has never done the show. It's all new people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I did that once. That's definitely a
That
red flag.
happens. But
Yeah.
also this is another thing that uh one of the reasons why I wanted to get into the board is to learn a little bit more about it. It's also if people are doing the same kind of work over and over and keep bringing the same work over and over, and people going to buy what they want to buy, and they're not going to buy anything from you, and people going to you're going to stop doing the show because you don't have no sales. So the question that artists need to be asking themselves is, are you doing better work? Are you creating something different? And you have a new piece. And part of the problem with the process is like I had to be cohesive and doesn't let you room to bring new work. And you don't have a section where you can, hey, this is something new that I'm trying, or doesn't let you experiment with something new. So it's part of the same problem that we have in the jury process.
But there are shows that
So,
say, you know, if you have new work, maybe you wouldn't jury in with it, but between the time you get juried in and the show happens, you could have new work. And they say, you know, if you have new work, that it's fine. Like if you have a whole new body of work, you're supposed to show what you juried in with. But if you have some new work, it could certainly be a percentage, you know, of your show, of your booth. Like for me, any of my new work, it's such a slow evolution that it's not an issue to show it because it's just such micro variables. But you know, for some people that have complete new bodies of work, they still have to show the old work, but they're allowed a percentage of the new work. But
I just emailed Elaine asking, I got some new pieces, and I'm like, can I bring these? I've already been juried in, but well, I didn't ask her if I could bring them in yet. I just asked her what she thought, and then if she likes them, then I'll ask her if I can bring them. I'm gonna baby step her. But
and that's
Why
I
don't
think
you
what they're
bring them and don't ask?
well, I don't know. I've been in Howard Allen shows, they're pretty regimental. So some of them you don't have to worry about.
How different are they?
Howard Allen,
No,
no, your pieces.
they're not really different. They're not the one I just sent you, Larry, is the one I asked. So it's like the jellyfish, but instead of a string, it's wall mounted.
I don't see a difference.
Well, I
yeah,
also have half jellyfishes. She says those cannot go in.
That's weird.
So the half that are like that are it's not finished, but they're like this size, right? And they go on the wall.
Uh-huh.
She won't allow those, but she'll allow the full size.
because that's a sculpture.
No,
That's
she says
different medium.
it's a craft. This is a craft. Here's the difference. This is a craft. This is not.
Uh-oh, that
Come on.
conversation. Is it craft or is it art?
Exactly.
Oh boy.
What is the difference between one and another one? Because they look the same to me.
Exactly. But this one's smaller. It goes, it's a half of one.
That's just a
Mounted
that's a
on a
stupid.
canvas.
Well, I can't bring those at all because I do have some on a canvas. So I have to either bring my paintings, my canvas work, or these. I can't bring both.
No, that makes sense.
I can bring
But
both
you can.
of them. If I go to shows, I can say it's mixed media because it's the ceramics on the canvas, the ceramics, because these are going to get either sea glass or beads. So it's a mixed media. And then I also have it where it's printed on canvas. They'll allow that under mixed media. But Howard Allen is very particular. They won't allow both.
And I think that Howard Allen probably has the the more standard rules for most of the shows. I don't, quite honest with you, I don't think that people say that about him, but he has. I don't know any other show that doesn't have the same rules as him. You know, and the only difference might be that they enforce the rules really hard, and the other shows don't. But it's the same rules from everybody's shows that I've seen. Quite honest with you.
Well, the ones that are promoters, they tend to be a little bit stricter. So like the ones that are like Beaux Art that is put on by they're put on by like a like a Rotary Club or something like that. They're not as strict, it seems like.
I think it's more because they don't have the staff.
Maybe, yeah.
It's not that they're not less strict, it's they don't have the staff to police everything. Well, this is the closest that those two I got so far. Some progress has been happening.
You guys were talking about giving up on a show. When do you know? So it's like we have done Alexander, Virginia. It's a Howard Allen show. We did it 2020, 2022 and 2023, and sold both times in that show. And then we went this year and didn't sell anything. And so we're going to give that one a rest. And the main reason why we're going to give it a rest is because we did not have a lot of folks come by that, stopped and said, wow, this was really nice or whatever. And, so we didn't get an email. I think I might have gotten 6 emails, from that show. And I thought, okay, we're going to give this one a rest. So we won't go again in 2025. But
I think that's a good gauge too, like the engagement you're having at a show, and how many emails you collect and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Spoleto, it's funny because Spoleto, Monday through Friday is really dead, but Marianne still was able to get emails from folks. So that turned out, and because it's during peak of tour season. She got a commission from a couple from San Francisco that she did, so that was a blessing. But and that was one thing that Marianne and I we talked about is if we're not getting any engagement at all, especially people who just hey, we'd love for you to I'd love to get your email address because when new work comes about, we'd like to email you a photo of it and see if it interests you. And if not, that's fine too. But just to let you know that there's always new work coming. So, and most people will just say, sure. So, but yeah, so we're giving up on Alexander, Virginia.
Alexandria.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But the first 2 years was spectacular. A woman came by, bought a triptych from Marianne, and then 2023, the same woman came by and bought a big 4x4 for her office. So that was really sweet, and those were 2 great shows. But this was a bust, so we decided, okay, we'll let it rest, and we'll see what else is out there.
I think sometimes we may feel like if we apply and get in and do shows, something will happen. And I know I do that. And so it is good to look back on your year and just, analyze, what happened, because sometimes it's more cost effective just staying in the studio.
Yeah. And for us, like I said, we're this is our 3rd year at St. James. And the first year, well, okay, I shouldn't say that. Let me correct myself. The first year, she won the St. James New Artist Award. So, New Artist Award. Anyway, she won the award. It was a $5,000 award. It was like, holy cow. And but didn't sell a single painting. And we went back last year, and she only sold a $250 painting. So we're going to try this.
The other thing that I was going to tell you, when you do a show, if it's only one sale, that's a red flag also. No matter how big is the sale.
Or
That's
if
a
it's the
good point.
same, or if it's the same people, you know, each year, which eventually that dries up too. Like if it's just the same people, like maybe one or two people, and that makes your show because they're high sales. But you know, it's important to always meet new people and plant
Yeah.
seeds.
It's funny. Dahlia's is hissing the other cat, and the other cat is just going like, I look at her going back to sleep.
So I have a question, although it's getting late here, I see. So I have not applied to shows in Florida before. And this is with my new stuff. I want to try to do that with like the big egrets and things like that. So are there any particular ones that you would say don't do, or any that you would say do try?
Well, the main thing is you have to do at least 3 shows in a row.
Yeah, that I remember because it's a 12-hour or better drive.
Bro, housing is going to be expensive. And food gets really expensive. So you have to find a place where you can cook your own meal. Figure out the break even for each show is going to be at least $2,000.
Okay.
And that way you can decide if you can take the risk or not.
Why do you say
I
do
only can tell
three?
you what?
Why do you say do 3 and not 2? What's wrong with 2?
Because you might get a bad weather weekend. It can happen. So I
sure.
always tell people
Best of 3. Okay.
that's why you'll do 3. And they usually, the big shows are usually 2 weeks apart from each other, so you need 3. So I can only tell you the big shows. I think I don't do shows with Henry Allen, but I was used to do shows with him. I know the Naples with him is good. I know Las Olas are good for no, not Naples. I mean Las Olas are good with him. The shows that he does in Sarasota and Boca Raton are good. But basically the shows that I do are just the big ones. It's Naples with the art center. But the art center you have to go with the mentality that they don't care about you, so you don't know what's going to happen.
What time is
Then
that one?
Bonita,
When is that one, Oscar?
Naples.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already invited. I'm already invited for the New Year's year, but then you have Naples National, which is the last weekend of February, and then you have Naples Downtown, which is the last, basically almost the last week, second to the last weekend of March, and goes the same time the Winter Park.
Okay,
But
so those are the
basically,
good ones. I know that I heard they're like stay away from Picasso,
Oh, yeah.
Naples Picasso, right?
Yeah, that's that promoter that ruined the Naples shows.
yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I
See,
thought
that's
the
good
ones with the
info.
art center.
What was
Okay.
that, Oscar?
Art center is good. Art center, you should give it a try because they're rebuilding the show.
That's the New Year's
Just go
one.
with that. Yeah, but the New Year's just already out. So, but I would say Maureen took over Bonita, which should be better now. All 3 Bonitas, but that's going to take a little while to get back on track. Also, the area changed a lot, but I would say Naples Invitational, which is that you have to look for it. I think the ones that Carl Swayze puts also are good. Images is good.
What was the name before
Boca
images? Swayze?
Carl Swayze, I'll tell you, let me open the SAP and I'll tell you.
I'm not familiar with that name.
He's a sculptor.
Yeah, give me,
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got waitlisted for Naples.
so Boca Museum with Fort Myers, those are the Mandora, those are that weekend. Then you got the weekend after that is Bonita to something with Howard or do something with Kenny. And then you got Coconut
St.
Grove,
Peter's,
Mardi Gras, Coconut Point. Those are the
St.
three to do
Petersburg
that
is that,
following.
have you ever done St. Petersburg that weekend? It's the same as Bonita? February
Yeah,
8th.
that's the one I'm applying instead than Bonita. Because
That'd be a lot
Bonita to me,
closer.
that market is dead for me. Englewood Invitational is the one that Carl Swayze put together.
Inglewood Invitational. Okay.
Invitational. That goes the third weekend or fourth weekend of January. But if you're traveling, I would suggest to try to do if you're going to only do a trip, I would suggest to do the February section because the weather is more stable.
In February.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
January is a iffy. If you're only going for 3 shows, January is the one month that you don't know what kind of weather you're going to get.
Okay. Even though the New Year's show is a good show. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got the
Last year, right now, both days.
I got the invitational down as being in um this month is November 30th, December 1st is Inglewood Invitational.
Yeah, she had one and then she got another one in January.
Oh, okay.
I've never done a Howard Allen just because I don't like the get up at 4 and, set up idea, but
That's what
try
I
to
don't
avoid
do
those.
them, basically.
What was that?
That's the main reason that I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do shows because it takes me 2 days to recover from that because
Yeah.
it wears me out so much on Saturday. And then my personal opinion is because I don't work out on Saturday, I don't get enough rest on Saturday night. When I do Sunday, then the show is going to suck because I'm my best.
Yeah.
100% out of me. It's more me than them. That's what and that goes the same thing with any show in general. There's some shows that are like a Boca Museum is a set up Saturday morning, but I know because the air is so expensive, as soon as I'm done with the show, I'm going to go straight back to the band to sleep. Eat dinner, back to the band to sleep. And same thing with South Miami, which is another one. I don't recommend people to do it, but that's another one that if you don't get to Naples downtown, that's a good backup. And then after that, you got Gasparilla in March. Like ideal situation would be to do Coconut Grove, Naples, National, and then Gasparilla. Those are the 3 big ones to do. Winter Park is way too far away, so you want to do one. If you get in, that's one of the shows that you just drive and hope for the best. But it's no guarantee you're going to make money.
Oh, of course.
Which one?
Well, we have at least connections in Naples, so I could stay without having to pay for a hotel, which would be helpful.
Yeah, because Naples is really expensive. Naples in the weekends at Red Roof can cost you $230.
Right. Pays to have friends down there.
Yeah. That's the main reason why my band is equipped for me to sleep over the weekend.
What do you
Because of
do? Do
that.
you have a little portable air conditioner in there?
It never gets that hot that you need an air conditioner at that time of the year. You just put a couple of fans and that usually does the trick. It usually drops to 70 degrees at night and at that time of the year. The only time that's kind of hot is on the March is the month is kind of iffy. It never drops that much.
And do you go like to a
But
gym and shower?
yeah, I just go to the gym and shower, but I also have now a water pump pressure that I can just throw a tarp in the back and shower with shorts, which is becoming more common now with other
Yeah.
artists, just to bring a portable shower with them.
I always wondered that because I know someone else who's always just stayed in his truck everywhere he's gone. And I've always wondered, what do you do?
Truck stop.
And then you go to a
I
Starbucks
guess,
in the
yeah.
morning, soon they come and use the bathroom, but you have to have your body just to that.
I just got a van, so
Mm.
now I'm wondering. I don't think I'm ready to sleep in it though.
I would, if you're a female, the person that teach me how to stay in the van was a female, but there's a lot of things. If you're female, you have to consider. Another thing that happened this weekend is that I keep hearing that a lot of the female artists are getting like asked out in the middle of the show, and they're
By
being
who?
harassed
By who?
Yeah.
You get
Customers?
creeps.
by
I get creeps. I've
uh,
got creeps before.
yeah, like a phone artist asking out, or even customer. There was one she correct me out because I know who she is. I'm not going to say her name, but her story was that in the middle of the show, the guy started talking to her about interest in buying the piece and keep talking about the piece, and she finally says, "So which piece you want to buy?" And he said, "Well, I would like to buy you dinner." And she just walked away from the tent.
Yeah, really.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
obnoxious.
Exactly.
Wasting her
So
time.
I'm married and I
yeah,
have a wedding ring, and I had this one guy who followed me to like 3 different shows and would monopolize my time.
Oh
Oy.
gosh. That's creepy.
It is creepy.
I got to tell you that sometimes in these days, I hope I never be one of those, but because you married doesn't mean that you don't have an open relationship and you don't go out with somebody else. So
Well,
what's
Well,
that's
what's
honestly,
some
quite an
guys?
assumption.
right. It is quite an assumption. But the other thing is, I mean, because we still live in such a sexist society, if you have an artist friend who's male, you could have them sort of, if you know who this pain in the neck person is, you could have them come in the booth and kind of piss on the hydrant. Excuse the phrase, but um,
Oh,
that's
he stopped coming by once my husband showed up.
oh good. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, get one of the other artists to pretend that he's your husband.
Right.
That's
And it's
true.
a
Or it's
shame.
your boyfriend.
Hey, honey, how are you? What's going
Well,
on? How's
I
it going
did
so
it
far?
on one of the shows. There was the guy that worked for helping the setup. He saw what was happening and he ran blockage for me.
Nice.
Away. Yeah,
That's the kind of friend you want.
exactly.
I mean, it's disgusting that we have to worry about that in the first place.
True.
Yeah. But as a jeweler, I wouldn't sleep in my vehicle. Well, that and I really need a hair dryer. So.
And I need a curling iron. You wouldn't know it from this, but I usually curl my hair. Usually looks good, but if I'm just doing, I don't care.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I tell people it's not for everybody, and you have to have some parameters. Like if the temperature doesn't drop over 80 degrees at night, I would tell you get an hotel.
Well, I'm
And
assuming
if
you don't use a curling iron, Oscar.
oh, I don't even
Or
I don't even use shampoo anymore.
Saves a
saving
lot
a
of
lot of
money,
money.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
But it's just up to you. I just. But if you try to go in February and be safe, and if you do the Miami shows, be careful because crime is high down there. Also, it's worse than some other cities. Last time I checked, it was rated number 20 in the country
Which one?
in crime rate. Miami.
Miami?
St. Louis
Us-
is like very high up there on the list, like number 3 or 2.
Who?
St. Louis and
Yeah, St. Louis is
Oakland,
rated number 2 or 3 in the nation.
and then Oakland, California is
Ugh,
rated pretty high.
I'm not sleeping in here.
So, and that's another thing. If it's a big city, I usually don't stay in the van. I get an hotel.
Hmm.
How's the
So
security at Coconut Grove for artists?
the security is amazing. You don't have to worry about that. It's Camille does it. They put it's the show is fence. They
Oh, that's
guards 24/7. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that. But there's still things happen. You know, you cannot
yeah.
be. I have to say stupid. It's the
Yeah.
only way to don't leave your bag or jewelry on the attendant. Don't leave your jackery in the middle of the floor when anybody can pick it up.
Right.
Because it's a lot of traffic and only takes a few minutes for somebody to snap. Don't leave your phone unattended on the table. You know,
I see a lot of that. The phones.
yeah.
Unattended
Just
phones. Oh my gosh.
I was told down here that you don't have to worry about, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so this area, you don't have to worry about your art being stolen, excluding jewelry, but they will steal your power tools, anything they can hawk for like $20 to get
Yeah.
cracked.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people, a lot of artists with phones sitting in their chairs, their
yes,
director's chairs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous,
have-
especially if
I
you
have
got.
2.
Yeah, yeah. What I was
If
going to
it's an
tell you.
older model, then if it's an older model, they're not going to take it from you most likely. But if it's one of the new models, they're going to borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I actually when I first got way back when I got an iPhone, artists told me somebody will steal your phone, and so what I do, I happen to have I don't take a separate purse. I just have my traveling one that never leaves my body, and so I just
Like a fanny pack.
well, no, it's different. It's across my shoulder, but
Oh, yeah.
and it's
Okay.
very easy to take my phone out and but so like even if I go out to eat and you're tired after a long day, it's still across my shoulder, so I don't have to worry about forgetting it. But so yeah, the phone always goes just right back into the front pocket.
And
When
fanny packs are not that safe because you can cut it really easily with a knife, a pocket knife, utility knife, and keep walking. So
Well, it's probably better than leaving it out.
no, I know, but you still have to be like what I'm saying is just be aware of your surroundings. Don't be.
I mean, someone could steal my purse too, but I'll walk with my hand. I'm walking through crowds. I have my hand on it. So, yes, you have to be, yes, you have to be.
I'm thinking about dinner. I think I'm going to make.
And actually, it's getting late.
Yeah.
Dawn,
Dawn, she walked away.
she walked away.
You walk away.
Larry, I changed my background image, so now it has the shadow.
Well, it looks good because the other one was blown out a little on the arm. And this looks better.
Yeah, so that was the darker one that you suggested. I just brightened it up a little bit and fixed the color just a tad.
I'll call you on the phone.
When we bought our light dome, and I ordered the walls, I didn't realize the walls. Each wall has a center zipper, and so because the trim line, it was a solid wall. So what I did is I took grommets of each corner of the center zipper so I could zip tie those two corners right there at I could zip tie the zipper and the corners together so nobody could just unzip it and walk inside. A guy in Spoleto showed that trick to me, and I bought some grommets and put some grommets on that because I was used to just zip tying the ends on the trim line. Has anybody else had an issue with that?
On the light dome?
Yeah, on the walls with the
I've always
zipper in
thought-
the middle.
Oh, with the zipper in the middle. Yeah, I've always done that on my trim line. I've always zip tied the zipper to the grommets.
Yep. Yeah,
I just zip tie the zipper to the other side of the zipper. And I mean, I don't have obviously I don't want someone to go into my booth, but I don't have anything in it since I'm a jeweler.
right.
But so who knows?
But
Yeah, but
you know that you can still open the tent, right?
Well,
Yeah,
I need
correct.
You have to cut the zip ties.
Correct.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily. You can actually open it. I done it with I tried it, and you have to. The only way to do is to put it like around the leg.
Well, if it's
Because
attached
now
to
you can actually just raise it up the both walls at the same time.
Oh, so yeah, I see what you mean. If it's attached to the grommet, you still just pick up the side walls.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unless they're really snug, and then you got to really squeeze in there, be a small person. But
And actually, they'll cut it first.
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst case scenario, you can at least come in the morning and go, are the zip ties still there? So you know if it's, been messed with. Heck,
Do you have the solution to your problem?
zip ties are even removable zip ties. Make it easy,
Mhm.
but nobody knows but me, and now you.
You know the solution is get insurance. That's all.
Right.
Mhm.
That's right. Yep. Well, guys, I hope you have a great afternoon, great evening. We're leaving Thursday to 12 and a half
Good
hour
luck.
trek to. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
And,
Bye,
yeah.
everybody.
We'll see you
Thanks,
next
Raoul.
week.
To leave also.
All right.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
God bless,
Okay.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.